Skyrim's paid mod update is worse than we thought, as not only have there been a number of game-breaking issues discovered on both PC and console, which I'll be covering some workarounds for in this video, but mods dependent on SKC64 and address library broke more than expected, and people are really not happy with the state of Bethesda as a whole, with the new paid creation system getting backlash from even mod authors themselves. But it's not all bad news. There is surprisingly some positive news here. So the first thing I want to touch on is the fact that yet another patch is coming for Skyrim in early 2024, as announced by Bethesda over on the official Bethesda Game Studios Discord, stating the following: "We are currently investigating the issues you've shared with us and working on fixes. Any patch we apply won't be until next year, and we do not expect any downtime with this. We'll share more details in our patch notes once work has been completed." So yeah, another patch is coming early next year to address a number of issues that we'll be discussing in this video, which you can expect will require that both SKC64 and address library are updated once again. That being said, as long as your mods support 1.6.1130, that being the current creations update, it should also work with this upcoming patch, given that you update the previously mentioned dependencies. But if you're wanting to avoid this next update entirely and have already downgraded, then you can follow my recent tutorial on how to block Steam updates for Skyrim and Fallout 4, or any other game for that matter. And if you haven't downgraded and are needing to, then you can check out my updated Skyrim downgrade tutorial, which even includes the steps for blocking updates for Skyrim specifically. Beyond the patch itself though, they also responded to a big complaint about the new paid creation system, sharing that they are indeed looking into an option for verified creators to set their content as friendly for achievements and trophies, so they are not disabled when using the content, which is something I was seeing a number of you criticize. So it's nice to see them actually address this complaint and do so in a timely manner for once. Now, on top of all this, they also clarified another restriction on verified creators, and this is actually a pretty big one, as they noted the following on their official Discord. For existing and future verified creators, third-party tools cannot be used on any content you wish to put up for sale. For launch, Bethesda Game Studios was able to leverage internal tools to assist with these releases. However, we are working on a better long-term solution, which includes continued updates to our tools and an official Blender exporter. We'll share more on tool sets as we get closer to its release. Now, this is an aggressive restriction on verified creators, as for those of you that don't know, a lot of mod authors use third-party tools to create their mods, so it'll be really interesting to see what kind of impact this has on what mod authors are able to accomplish without the tools they might be accustomed to. But this does have a potential pretty exciting side effect, as with BGS planning on bringing updates to the toolset for the creation kits, this wouldn't just benefit verified creators. It would benefit all mod authors, which in turn would benefit the entire modding community, given that the updates to the toolset are valuable beyond getting around the lack of third-party tool usage. So could paid mods actually have a positive side effect for everyone? Maybe, just maybe. Now, of course, the patch coming next year is coming for a reason. It's not just another pointless update, as the introduction of the creations update, while fixing a number of issues, also brought a few with it. The first of which is the broken Steam integration, which of course this is a PC exclusive issue, meaning that the Steam achievements, time tracking, and so on are all currently broken, which is something I actually mentioned in my previous Skyrim video, but wanted to address it again with an actual quick tutorial on how to fix it. So to work around this issue, if you have the game on Steam, go ahead and find Skyrim in your Steam library, right click, go to Manage, and browse local files. This will bring you to the Skyrim install directory, where you'll want to right click somewhere in empty space, go to New, and select Text Document. Be sure to rename the text document to Steam_app_ID and hit Enter. Now go ahead and open your newly created text document and type in 489830, which is the app ID for Skyrim Special Edition. Once done, click on File at the top left, hit Save, and you can now close the text document. This will act as a temporary fix until it is officially resolved with the next patch early next year. Now, with this update, a lot of mods broke more than usual as well, so if you're on the latest version, you're not downgraded, and that's where you want to be, there are some things you'll need to do beyond the typical requirements, that being updating SKC64 to version 2.2.5 and address library to version 9 to support the latest game version, that being 1.6.1130. As you will also need to update many of your SKC plugins to their latest versions, given that they have been updated, which if you're unaware of what that means, I'll leave a link to the SKC plugin status page down in the the description, which lists mods that include SKSE plugins and what versions they're compatible with. If you have any installed that show up as not compatible, you'll need to disable them until an update is released. Surprisingly though, the vast majority have been updated for the latest version of the game, including big ones like SSE display tweaks, race menu, and many more. Now beyond that, there are some more complicated issues to know about and how to fix them. For example, SSE engine fixes is currently causing an issue where it disables all of your plugins on startup despite being compatible with the latest version of the game, which is actually caused by the broken Steam integration and is not resolved by the workaround we did earlier to fix that issue. So in the meantime, we'll have to make some manual modifications to the SSE engine fixes configuration file. To do so, we first need to find this file in your mod manager of choice. So for Mod Organizer 2 users, you'll simply want to double click on SSE engine fixes, ensuring that you're on the text files tab, and within, click on the skse/plugins/enginefixes.toml file. This is how you'll want to modify it through MO2. Now, just to quickly show Vortex users how to find this same file, right-click on SSE engine fixes in Vortex and select Open in File Manager. This will open the directory to the mod. From here, go into the SKSE folder and then into the plugins folder. Within, you should see the engine fixes .toml file. So go ahead and right-click on the engine fixes .toml file, select Open With, and here there should be an option for Notepad. If you don't see Notepad as an option, then you'd want to select Choose an app on your PC and find the Notepad executable. Once it's been opened with Notepad, you'll then see the same settings that we navigated to in Mod Organizer 2. And this is where we'll want to change some settings that currently cause issues with the latest patch due to the missing Steam integration. So the first setting we'll need to find is Enable Achievements with Mods, which as you can see is currently set to true. We need to change this to false by highlighting the text as you see on screen and instead typing false to overwrite it. We then need to do this for a setting called Save Added Sound Categories, where we will once again change it from true to false. And lastly, scroll down into the Fixes category and find the setting Save Screenshots, which again, you'll also want to change to false. Once you've made all those changes, be sure to save, and you can now close out of this file. Those edits will resolve the issue of SSE engine fixes disabling all of your plugins, but obviously, a lot of you probably want the ability to earn achievements with your mods enabled, so you can use an alternative mod to do so while we wait for these issues to be resolved with the next patch. That being Achievements Mods Enabler by XShadowmanX, which as with everything covered in this video, can be found down in the description. The next troublesome mod is the ever so popular SkyUI, which is currently not fully compatible with the latest version due to some changes made to the user interface in the latest update. And there will apparently be an update to SkyUI sometime down the road, but for now, if you'd like to fix the issues with it, there have been some patches made that you can install. The major one being SkyUI SE Difficulty Persistence Fix by Torwhack. On top of that, it's also recommended to install Fixed Node Icon for SkyUI by 0xC000005 and SkyUI Ghost Item Bug Fix by Edmund SA. All three of those patches will resolve the major issues with SkyUI on the latest update. Now, if you happen to have downgraded rather than being on the latest version, there are some things you'll want to note as well. As with some of the updated creations and some newly released mods that are made on the upgraded version of the creation kit, some of the new plugins won't work on the downgraded version of the game. That is, unless you install backported extended ESL support by Nukem. This is something I mentioned in my downgrade tutorial, but if you happen to have missed it, I wanted to mention it here in case any of you have been having issues on your downgraded version of the game. And at the time of this video, the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition downgrade patcher by Helgari has still not been properly updated for the latest version, as Helgari has to rewrite it from scratch to resolve the issue with the latest version. As for those of you unaware, the downgrade patcher that says it's compatible with 1.6.1130 is currently broken, which was the purpose of my updated downgrade tutorial, where I showed how to downgrade directly through Steam instead. And whenever Helgari is able to push out the newly created downgrade patcher, I'll be sure to make an updated video on it. And again, as a reminder, if you're wanting to block updates for the game on Steam, you can find my video on how to do so at the top of the description or pinned comment. Or if you don't want to worry about updates at all and would prefer to have a DRM-free copy of the game with no forced updates and built-in rollback support, then you can always grab the game on GOG using my partner link down in the description, which supports the channel in the process. Now, speaking of the GOG copy, there will actually be an optional update coming, which will add some of the fixes included in the Creations update and the upcoming patch. We don't have a timeline for its release as of right now, but if you'd like to update at some point, you'll still have the option to do so with the GOG version of the game. Now, alongside the advancements made with the backported extended ESL support that we were talking about earlier in the video, an exciting advancement was made for Skyrim VR, which, since I get a surprising amount of comments regarding Skyrim and Fallout 4 VR, I figured I'd briefly cover this for those interested. As a new mod, Skyrim VR ESL support by Nightfall Storm does exactly what the mod title suggests. It backports ESL support to Skyrim VR, including the extended ESL support. This is a game-changing revelation for Skyrim VR modding, as ESL plugins don't count towards the load order limit, meaning you'll no longer have to worry as much about the 254 plugin restriction, just as we haven't had to with Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4 for quite some time. And as an additional side note, Vortex and Mod Organizer 2 have already pushed beta updates to add support for this mod, ensuring the light plugins are actually recognized. So to those of you that play and mod Skyrim VR, I hope you enjoy. But that's mainly it for the major PC issues and updates. But if you're on console, you aren't exactly safe either, as a number of console players have been reporting in my comment section that they've been unable to access the new creations menu without it instantly crashing the game following the update. Meaning that many of you are unable to manage your mods, which is kind of a big issue, and you can't access any of the creation content. Now, while I can't test this for myself, you can reportedly prevent this crash. So to do so, when you go to open the creations menu, the split second you start to see the menu appear, right before it would normally crash, you'll want to quickly press the button to open the load order page, which should be Y on Xbox and triangle on PlayStation. And if done correctly, then it should hopefully prevent the crash and allow you to access the rest of the creations menu. So hopefully that works for any of you console players having this issue. Of course, ideally, BGS will also be addressing this, but they don't often share a known issues list. So we'll just have to wait and see. And the last thing we really need to touch on in this video is the paid mods, as the return of paid mods with the new creation system has obviously not been received very well. And while I said in my previous Skyrim video that I don't have as many issues with it as others do, I do want to clarify that that wasn't an endorsement. I was just settling certain worries about the system, such as people expecting this to be another Modpocalypse or the death of free and open modding. And even with BGS announcing that a tremendous number of people applied to become verified creators and that a full review of applications will occur through January, that doesn't mean that every mod author is suddenly no longer going to make free mods, whether they get into the program or not. This is something I think a lot of people don't understand, that being that a lot of mod authors like sharing cool shit for free. And not everything they make will or even can be released as paid creations anyway. Because as a reminder, paid creations can only be created by verified creators, must go through an approval and QA process. They cannot use any third-party tools to make them, cannot use or repurpose previously released content, whether free or paid, cannot have any dependencies, meaning it can't depend on things like SKC64 or any other mod, and so on. So every mod isn't going to magically be a part of this new system. On top of this, to hopefully settle worries even more, an increasing number of mod authors have come out following the release of creations to state that they will never charge for their mods, don't support the program, or will at the bare minimum continue to release free mods alongside their paid works. And I think this will apply for the vast majority of mod authors. You can take a look at quotes from even the likes of Eleonora, who's been a part of the program since the Creation Club days, stating that they foresee most custom content for these games to remain free. Heck, even back during the wild west of paid mods on the Steam Workshop, many mod authors didn't want any part of it, and even made statements saying that their mods were going to be forever free. And while there were a few dickheads that pulled their mods that were previously free and put them behind the paywall, that isn't even possible this time, and the majority didn't do that anyways. So I just don't see the system as the kind of DEFCON 1 level threat, and fully expect it to make about as much of a splash as Creation Club, which didn't really impact mod output at all. And obviously that's just my opinion. I could end up being wrong, and you're free to stay livid at this paid creation system if you want. I'm just letting you know that this won't be the end of modding as we know it, just as it won't be for when it gets added to Fallout 4 and Starfield early next year. Which, if you haven't seen my videos covering those upcoming updates, you can find them on screen now, alongside my video on how to block Steam auto updates for any game. But that's it for this video. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, this is Apoqsi, signing off.